friends, welcome to our kitchen. I am going to do a men's clipper cut tips and tricks video for you today. First things first, make sure your client model has clean, dry hair. His is still a little damp. My professional clippers will cut through this, but anybody watching at home wanting to do this, you're going to want to make sure the hair is completely dry. Also, make sure you and your lovely model are wearing shoes, because hair slivers are a thing and they suck, and you don't want to go to the emergency room to have one dug out of your foot right now. That being said, I did a consultation with my husband Corey here. Say hi.
Hi.
And we are going to do just a basic, we're going to do a 4-guard on top, and we're going to do a 2 on the sides. I have just my basic wall clipper here. You attach the guard like so. This little lever here will give you a little bit of wiggle room. We're going to do it with the lever closed so that the clipper guard is all the way down. And I have my comb. So kind of make sure you comb through first. Make sure there are no tangles, no snarls like we found right here. Just so that gives you a good surface to start with and your clippers aren't going to get stuck in the hair.
Is it still recording?
Mm-hmm. And this is very important too. When you have your clipper on the head, make sure it is always making as much contact as possible. When you first scoop into the hair, make sure that it's resting gently against the head. You don't have to like dig it in, but you want to make sure that your clipper is making even contact with the head at all times. And we're just going to start. I'm starting with the top because it'll be easier to blend the sides in. Slow, smooth passes through the hair. He likes it pretty short, so I am going against the direction of his hair growth. His hair for the most part grows out this way, so I'm cutting against that to make sure I'm getting as short as possible. This one section right here, he's got kind of a cowlick and it's growing in a different direction, so I'm just going to come back in the opposite way. Follow that around, take it right down. What?
Tickles my head.
Now that we have this lovely mullet look, I'm going to kind of go up through the sides here a little bit. That will make it easier to blend up with your next size down clipper guard. I'm not doing anything fancy. Just going row by row, slightly overlapping the previous section, just in case there were one or two that got missed. There's one there. And we got another little cowlick in the back, so I'm just going to kind of go around and chip into that little circle.
You want to turn inside it?
a little towel here to kind of sweep that off the face. Give it a comb through to make sure we didn't miss anything. We've got a couple little straggly pieces across the front here. I'll show you guys how to clean that up in just a minute. That'll be part of the finishing of the cut. And now I'm going to go down with my 2 guard, which is 1/4 of an inch. I'm gonna start with the lever open to give us a little more length. And I'm gonna start right here by his ear. Maybe I will have you spin sideways just for this part here. Same thing, keeping it flat against the head and going straight up to about this ridge here. That ridge is going to be a little bit different on every head, but where his is right here, I'm kind of doing an up and a little flick out motion, and that kind of helps you give it that nice clean blend from the sides to the top. Around the ear. Now on the back, how this ridge kind of comes around, I'm not going all the way up to the top. I'm kind of following this curvature of the head and doing my little flicking motion here. And that gives it a nice little blend there, and then it doesn't get too short or a weird flat spot right here. You can of course take it all the way up if you'd like to. I like to leave a little bit of length there. And then where it's going down the neck here, where he has more of this natural hairline, I'm going over that with the clipper first just to get the bulk of it out of the way, and then we'll come back later and we will clean up that with the edgers. Now I'm just kind of coming back around this little ridge here just to kind of clean that up, make sure it's nice and blended. A little flick of the wrist motion. Oh, missed a little spot right there. This is why we go back and check. Okay. Now I'm going to take the clipper guard off. I have these little edgers that I personally like to use. If you don't have them, you can use these, but you have to be very careful around the ears. So I'm going to show you what that looks like on this side of the head with using just the clippers. We're going to take this little lever and close it so that your blades become nice and flush again. And you're going to kind of comb this hair and make sure it's laying as straight as it's possible to lay. You can bend that ear down and just take the corner and buzz off the little straggly ends of those hairs just to give it a nice clean line. Work slow as you feel comfortable.
You want to get closer?
And behind the ear here, come up just very slowly, just using that outer corner of your clipper. And have you kind of neutralize your head here. And now we're coming to that spot where he has that hairline. We want to make sure we make a nice, he likes it more square across the back here. So I'm going to start making that line. So you can see where I made that line. He has a nice new hairline here. And then I'm just going to go back over where we have that little wily part. Blade flush against the skin. And take that right off. Does that tickle?
Mm-hmm.
And because we have quite a bit of hair there, I'm going to sweep that off and check it. If you don't have a cape at home, you can use a towel. Bed sheets actually kind of work a little bit better than towels. They're not as bulky. They're easier to kind of fold into themselves. So a towel or a sheet will work. I'm just going to kind of get down here under the neckline of the collar. Just to make that nice and clean. And then we're going to come back here and we're going to connect this little line. We're going to take this little corner off because you can see where it comes here and then it starts getting a little shaggy before we get to that nice clean line. I'm going to line up my comb to give me my guide and just take that right off. And for efficiency, I'm just going to go ahead and do the other side. Okay, now we want to take care of these little wispies here in front. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this wider tooth part of my comb. These combs have a little bit of width here and a little tighter teeth here. You want to use the wider ones because that's going to keep it from looking like a straight line bowl cut. And kind of gauge where we see the bulk of the hair and where it starts to get a little thin down there. And rest your comb, use it as a guide so you don't cut above it. I'm just going to go through and take those right off. If you see anything around the front hairline here, you can kind of line up a little bit. If you're not so sure about the freehand thing, again, use your comb as a little guide to help you. It'll keep you from going too far back into the hair. And there we have it, a very basic men's clipper haircut. You can use any length of guards that you want. Just make sure that if you're using guards that are farther apart in numbers, like an 8 for the top and a 1 on the sides, you really have to make sure you're gonna flick that wrist and get that good blend. You could also use a couple of guards in between. Now's the time to play around with it. We're not going anywhere. But yeah, if you want to keep it simple, we did a 4 on top, 2 on the sides. And then if you even wanted to, you can take it a little bit shorter with another guard around the sides, just around the hairline here. But that's it. That's your basic men's clipper cut. I hope that this helps, and let me know if you want to see any more. Thank you, and we will see you again.
See you, bye.